Hey, welcome back, everybody. Blue Note Hawaiʻi is known for bringing some of the world's best live music to Waikiki. But next week, the venue is taking the stage in a different direction. Now, actor and performer, and our good friend of Living It Away, Moses Good, joins us to talk about stepping into the life, legacy, and the aloha of father of modern surfing. We're talking about Duke Kahanamoku. Good to see you.
Good to see you, brother.
Okay, I gotta ask you, what can we expect from the show? But most importantly, who is the Duke that we will be meeting at your show? Because this is a one-man show. Okay, who is that Duke that we're going to see?
Okay, that Duke is a complete human being. What I mean by that is people know Duke as a symbol, as an icon, as a representation of Hawaii, but you rarely get a glimpse of his entire life as a human being, right?
Yeah.
In the different phases of his life, the times of his life. The fact that his first language was Hawaiian. People don't think about that. Things about Duke that we don't read about, we don't get to hear. This show captures that.
Right. You know, the last time I interviewed you, it was during the Chief of War, press, which, by the way, you are so talented.
Mahalo.
But I also love going into your mind as not just an actor, but as an artist and somebody who is putting Hawaiian, culture on a big stage. How did you take this approach with Duke? Because that's not a small name, to follow. What was your creative mindset into playing Duke?
Okay.
Like, how did you learn who he is?
Yeah. What I do is I start off with, what I call gathering the bits, like research and get all the information, the factual things.
Yeah.
And then I sit with those things and I try to understand the human part of these kupuna, these ancestors that I'm portraying.
Yeah.
It's like when he's in a situation, for example, he rescued people this one time in California in a boat capsized, and he went out and rescued them in turbulent water, and then some of them didn't make it. So I put myself in that situation. What would it be like if I actually went out and saved people and then brought back the ones that didn't live, right? What would that do to me? How would that, affect my life? So that's what I do. I get the information, right? And then I try to understand the human side of it, how I would react as a human being.
So you would learn what type of actions would you initially feel, naturally feel, how you would naturally react to them. Okay, I find this so interesting. Is this called method acting?
No, method acting is something different where you try to be that person for real. I'm not trying to be Duke for real. I'm a storyteller of his life.
Love that.
Yeah.
Let's tell everybody what drew you personally to Duke's story. Why did you want to be a part of this project?
Okay, there's a lot of reasons. Like most people in Hawaii, I grew up with his story. One of many things, like I said, my mother told me about this one time when she saw Duke on this show called This Is Your Life.
Okay.
It was a national television show that interviewed all these celebrities, and she saw a Hawaiian on TV being celebrated, and it just did something to her. It showed her like, wow, this is what a Hawaiian can do in this world, right? On a world platform. So that really inspired her. That translated to me being inspired to dream of what we can do and be, just being a part of Hawaii.
I love that. And seeing somebody that looks like you on stage, which, by the way, shout out to, I know we're talking about Duke, but shout out to you because I saw you in Moana.
Oh, you caught me in there?
No. Okay, wait. So real quick, and I'm gonna circle this back, producers. But when I was watching Moana, I teared up because I recognized people, one, that I knew, but people that look like everyday people. So I totally understand when you said that your mom saw somebody on a national platform that looked just like her.
Yeah.
What does that mean to you in terms of not just an actor, but as a Hawaiian, to see this renaissance of Polynesian and Hawaiian culture, being portrayed not just at Blue Note, but like on big stages such as Moana and even Chief of War. Yeah,
representation can be life-changing, right?
Yeah.
Whether it's a huge stage and platform or a small stage within our community. Everything I do in the community, I make sure I have the thought that this could change a child's life. Seeing me on stage in a youth production or whatever, or seeing me on the screen, I look at the young Moses, right?
Yes.
that was inspired by something that I saw. And the same thing can happen and does happen for our young people and our older people too, right? I have Kupuna coming up to me and just, in tears, thanking me for representing our people. So it can be something that can change lives. So that's what I think about every time I'm on stage or on screen.
I'm so happy that Moses and I are going to be talking Story Overtime 808. We're going to have 30 more minutes of talking all about Duke, your thoughts on where Hollywood is going in terms of Hawaiian representation. But let's tell everybody who is wanting to come out to Duke next week, where can they find more information and when does it start?
We are going to be at Blue Note August 20th. That's Thursday. We have 2 shows on that one night, so check that out. We have a tour that's going to tour the other islands right after that.
Beautiful.
But Blue Note next week.
Okay, perfect. We'll have more information on our website, kh22.com. Overtime 808 is the place to be after Living 808 because that's where Moses and I was going to say Duke. Well, Moses, aka Duke, is going to be hanging out with us, and we're going to learn more about that. So thank you so much, Moses. I appreciate it.